The best of money matters. Wealth Tracker.
Welcome to the Wealth Tracker, where we dive into the uncharted territories of niche investment strategies that promise to redefine wealth. Hello, I'm Hongbin Jeong. Now, Bitcoin dropped to a 3-month low of $84,900 on February 27th, breaking below $85,000 for the first time since early January. Now, analysts warn that if Bitcoin doesn't hold above $82,000, it could fall to $80,300 or even $75,700. Now, Bitcoin exchange-traded funds saw more than $1 billion pulled in just one day earlier this week, and this marked the largest one-day outflow since Bitcoin ETFs debuted last year. So what are the driving factors behind this massive withdrawal, and what are the broader implications for Bitcoin's future? Well, also in this conversation, we'll be taking a look at hype coins. Dogecoin, originally a parody of Bitcoin, became a major player in the cryptocurrency market due to its meme-driven appeal and a valuation reaching billions. The peak of Dogecoin's popularity was back in 2021, boosted by social media endorsements, notably from Elon Musk, reaching a price of 73 cents before declining. Now, Dawgz AI is shaping up to be the next crypto to hit $1. And is it just the hype, or does it have serious profit potential? Well, to unpack all of these, joining me now is Jason French, who is the Executive Director of Clients at Sygnum. Jason, welcome back to the show.
Hi, great to be back. Thanks for having me again.
Thank you so much for joining us. Jason, what are the main drivers contributing to the recent outflows from Bitcoin ETFs as seen on February 25th?
Yeah, it's tough to say exactly, but it seems to be largely driven by profit-taking from some of the early ETF investors, also a general decline in market sentiment, and some macroeconomic factors like the rising bond yields and a stronger dollar. Also, hedge funds have unwound arbitrage trades, so this is also adding to the sell pressure.
I see. So how will retail investors and institutional investors be impacted by, continuous outflows from Bitcoin ETFs?
Yeah, for retail investors, really it's a test of nerves, and volatility is always a part of Bitcoin's DNA. For institutions, this is just market mechanics at play, I'd say. I think many view Bitcoin as a long-term asset. These outflows, I think, don't really change its fundamental thesis long-term.
I see. What do you think, makes digital assets, especially Bitcoin, more prone to retail-driven movements compared to traditional equities then?
Yeah, it's a good question. Crypto markets, unlike traditional markets, they run 24/7. They have lower liquidity than traditional markets, and they're very highly sentiment-driven. So, especially with the social media amplifying these market narratives. So I think this tends to make Bitcoin a bit more reactive to news and emotions than, say, the S&P 500.
I see. Well, Bitcoin's price has been fluctuating, and its value recently hit its lowest level since mid-November. And Bitcoin funds shed approximately $2.1 billion over 6 consecutive days. What do you think this prolonged period of outflows signifies about market confidence in Bitcoin ETFs and their long-term viability?
Yeah, it's tough to say exactly, but I think this is more of a short-term shakeout rather than a loss of confidence. I think if you look at the Bitcoin ETF, saw billions in inflows earlier this year. I think this is just the other side of the trade. Long-term, if you kind of zoom out, institutional adoption is still growing. And if you kind of take a historic view, this has happened in every other bull market, previously. So I think to me, this looks more like a short-term shakeout rather than a loss of confidence in the asset.
I see. Well, analysts suggested that the record outflows may be due to hedge funds unwinding the basis trade strategy. How does this strategy work, and why has it, become less attractive for hedge funds in the current market environment?
Yeah, simply put, hedge funds used to profit from the spread between spot BTC and the futures, but with the falling futures premiums, the trade is really no longer worth the risk. So as these positions unwind, spot BTC gets sold, and this, compounds and adds to the price, the downward pressure on the price.
I see. Well, do you think that investors newer to the cryptocurrency space may also have, kind of contributed to the outflows? How does a lack of experience in the market lead to panic selling during times of volatility?
Yeah, absolutely. I was looking at some data just before this call, and it appears that 74% of the selling is actually due to recent buyers of BTC in the last month. So I think newer investors tend to react more emotionally to volatility. I think some of the more experienced players tend to use these as buying opportunities historically.
I see. And some analysts, they've warned that if Bitcoin doesn't hold above $82,000, it could fall to $80,300 or even $75,700. Do you hold the same view? And what would be necessary for a recovery? What will you be looking out for?
Yeah, actually we did breach those numbers just today. I think it went down to 78 something. So, we have actually touched some of these lower numbers. But fundamentally, I think the long-term fundamentals haven't changed. And as I said before, historically, corrections have always followed by new highs in previous market cycles. So if history repeats itself, then I think this is something that, could play out. Key signals to watch would be ETF inflows, macro trends, and also, just the general sentiment around the space as a whole.
I see. Well, moving away from Bitcoin here, elsewhere, Dogecoin, originally a parody of Bitcoin, became a major player in the cryptocurrency market due to its meme-driven appeal and a valuation reaching billions. Now, Dawgz AI is shaping up to be the next crypto to hit $1. What sets Dawgz AI apart from other crypto projects, particularly those that have ridden the wave of hype coins in recent years?
Yeah, I have to preface this by saying I am definitely not a Dawgz AI expert, but I did some research on this, and I think to look at it fundamentally, it's not just another meme coin because it's also integrating some AI-powered tools into its ecosystem, and theoretically, this gives it more potential utility than a typical hype-driven project might have.
I see. Well, with Dawgz AI already raising $1.9 million in pre-sale funds, what does this pre-sale kind of momentum indicate about the confidence investors have in the project?
Yeah, generally this would signal some strong early interest from the market, but I think always with any project, the real test is whether it delivers real-world use cases post-launch, and I think that's what people will be interested in following.
I see. So how does the fixed supply of 8.888 billion tokens in Dawgz AI contribute to long-term market stability? How does it differ from the inflationary models seen in other cryptocurrencies?
Yeah, like Bitcoin, a fixed supply essentially means no inflation long term, which, in theory could support some price appreciation if it gains in favor amongst investors, shows utility, unlike coins that have unlimited issuance. So it's much harder to value this sort of a model versus a fixed supply.
I see. And looking to the future, how do you see Dawgz AI then evolving beyond 2025? And how do you plan to adapt to the, growing demand for AI-driven crypto solutions?
Yeah, I think in general, the AI space with crypto, it has a lot to prove, but I think that it's a very interesting, part of the sector of the market, and I think there's a lot of eyes on this. And, I think if it proves utility and value, then I think a lot of these projects could, evolve beyond, a meme token. But if it fails to gain traction, utility, and adoption, then I think these sorts of projects also risk fading into obscurity like other coins. So it'll be an interesting space to watch moving for sure.
I see. Well, thank you so much for your time and your insights today, Jason.
Thank you so much for having me. Always great to be here.
Thank you. That was Jason French, who is the Executive Director of Clients at Sygnum. This has been the Wealth Tracker with me, Hongbin Jeong.
Before acting on the information on Money FM, please consider if it's suitable for your own investment objectives, financial situation, and risk tolerance. To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.